Jack Benny made people across America laugh for nearly 50 years. On radio and television, he became famous for playing a man who hated spending money. Audiences loved his timing, his calm voice, and his clever jokes. Everything about him seemed perfect. But behind that polished image, there was a private life that few people understood. Even his close friends did not know the full truth. His daughter, Joan Benny, stayed silent for many years. Then she finally shared what life was really like at home. She wrote about quiet struggles, about nights that looked happy from the outside but felt very different inside, and about a family that was not as perfect as it seemed. Jack Benny was born as Benjamin Kubilski on February 14, 1894, in Chicago. His father, Mir Kubilski, had come to America to escape violence in the Russian Empire. He settled in a town called Waukegan, where he ran a small but rough saloon. The place was full of gamblers, drinking, and arguments. It was not a calm or safe environment. His mother, Emma Kubilski, wanted a better life for her son, which is why she chose to give birth in Chicago. But soon after, the family returned to their simple home in Waukegan, near Lake Michigan. As a child, Benjamin showed talent in music. He could listen to his mother play the piano and then repeat the tunes by ear. His parents noticed this ability and believed music might give him a better future. But life in their home was not easy. Money was always a concern. His father worked hard to keep the business going, and young Benjamin saw how stressful it was. He watched people argue, drink too much, and sometimes even fight. These early experiences stayed with him. Later in life, when he created his famous cheap character, it was partly inspired by watching his father struggle to manage money. When Benjamin was about 6 years old, his parents gave him a small violin. They hoped he would become a great musician. They spent money on lessons even though it was difficult for them. He trained with teachers and even studied in Chicago, where some believed he had real talent. From the outside, he looked like a young boy with a bright future in music. But inside, things were different. He did not enjoy practicing. He found it boring and stressful. Many times, he would rather be doing something else. Still, he continued because he felt he had no choice. As he grew older, he began playing violin in small orchestras and earning a little money. At the same time, he started adding humor to his performances. He would make small mistakes on purpose or turn a serious moment into a joke just to make people laugh. This became important later in his career. On stage, he often pretended to be a bad violin player, even though he was actually skilled. School was not easy for him. He struggled to focus and eventually failed a grade. It became clear that traditional education was not the right path for him. He was more interested in performing. He spent time in theaters, watching actors and learning how audiences reacted. The stage attracted him more than the classroom ever could. His family life also became more difficult. His mother's health began to decline, and there was pressure for him to find a stable future. He tried working in business and helping in his father's shop, but he was not good at it. Selling things and handling everyday work did not suit him. It became clear that he was meant for something else. By his teenage years, he had started performing professionally. He worked with different partners and tried to build a career. However, even his name became a problem. Benjamin Kubilski sounded too unusual to some theater managers. He changed it to Benny, but that also caused issues. Eventually, he chose the name Jack Benny, which was simple and easy to remember. A major turning point came during World War I. He joined the Navy and was assigned to entertain soldiers. At first, he played the violin, but one performance went badly. The audience became restless. In that moment, he said something funny to calm the crowd, and they laughed. That reaction changed everything. He realized that making people laugh felt more natural than playing music. After the war, he returned to performing and worked in vaudeville. He developed a simple comedy act and performed it again and again in different cities. Instead of constantly changing his material, he focused on improving it. He adjusted his timing, changed small details, and learned exactly how to get the biggest laughs. This careful work helped him become a master of comedy. Unlike many performers who were loud and energetic, Jack Benny had a calm style. He spoke softly and used pauses to create humor. He did not rush his jokes. Instead, he let the silence build, making the audience wait before delivering the punchline. This became one of his greatest strengths. During this time, he met Mary Livingstone, whose real name was Sadie Marks. Their relationship started awkwardly. At first, he did not seem very interested, and she noticed. But later, he began sending her one red rose every day. Slowly, she began to see his feelings. Eventually, they got married in 1927. Their relationship lasted for many years, though it was not always easy. As vaudeville began to decline during the Great Depression, Jack moved into radio. At first, it was difficult. He quickly ran out of material and struggled to adjust to the new format. But he adapted by building a team of writers and creating a show that felt like a real world, with recurring characters and ongoing jokes. One of the most important parts of his success was his ability to use silence. In one famous moment, a robber says, "Your money or your life." Jack pauses for a long time before replying, "I'm thinking it over." The humor came from the pause, not just the words. This kind of timing made him unique. Another key part of his show was his partnership with Eddie Anderson, who played Rochester. At a time when racial equality was rare in entertainment, their partnership stood out. Rochester was not just a servant character. He was smart, confident, and often made Jack look foolish. Their relationship showed respect and friendship, both on and off the air. Not everyone accepted this. Some listeners sent angry letters because they did not like hearing a black man speak as an equal to a white star. But Jack Benny refused to change. He defended his friend and stood by him. In real life, he also supported Eddie Anderson, making sure he was treated fairly and paid well. Jack Benny continued working for many years, even into his 70s. He remained sharp and funny, still able to make audiences laugh. But in 1974, his health suddenly declined. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and the illness progressed quickly. He passed away on December 26, 1974, at the age of 80. After his death, people discovered a touching secret. Years earlier, he had arranged for a florist to send Mary one red rose every day for the rest of her life after he was gone. He had paid for it in advance and told no one. The roses kept arriving for years, reminding her of his love. In his will, he left a large fortune to his family and made thoughtful donations. Despite his onstage image as a miser, he was generous in real life. He helped others quietly and supported those around him. Joan Benny later revealed more about their family life. She explained that her father was kind but also complex. He was not truly cheap like his character. He simply used that image for comedy. She also shared that her mother struggled with severe stage fright. Over time, it became so bad that Mary could not perform live. Her parts were sometimes recorded in advance, and the audience never knew. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But behind the scenes, there were challenges, fears, and hidden struggles. Jack Benny's life was not just about laughter. It was also about hard work, personal battles, and a family trying to hold itself together.